I want to ask you something personal. How do you talk to yourself when you make a mistake? Not out loud, in your head, in that quiet inner voice that nobody else hears. When you say the wrong word in English, when you forget a grammar rule you have studied many times, when you miss a study session, when your progress feels slow, what does that voice say? For many people, the voice is not kind. It says things like, "You are so stupid. Why can you not remember this? You have been studying for months and you still cannot do this simple thing. You are wasting your time. You are not good enough." These words feel like honesty, like clear eyed realism, like you are just seeing yourself accurately. But they are not honest, they are not helpful, and they are not accurate. They are cruel. And cruelty, even cruelty directed at yourself, does not help you grow. It makes growing harder. Here is the thing most people do not understand: you cannot be harsh enough with yourself to improve. That is not how improvement works. Improvement comes from consistent effort, honest reflection, and the kind of patient encouragement that keeps you coming back. Even after mistakes, even after slow weeks, even after the days that felt like nothing went right, you need to be kind to yourself. Not because kindness is soft or easy or comfortable, because kindness works. Today's story is about a young man named Saber. Saber was his own harshest critic, and it was making him worse, not better, until someone helped him see it. This is his story. Meet Saber. Saber was 25 years old. He worked at a language school as an administrative assistant, scheduling classes, managing student records, communicating with families. He liked the environment. He liked being around learning. He had been studying English himself for 8 months, every morning, 25 minutes before work. He was consistent. He showed up. But he was miserable about it. Not because the studying was hard, because he was never satisfied with himself. After every session, he focused on what he had not understood rather than what he had. After every mistake, he replayed it in his mind. After every slow morning when the lesson felt difficult, he told himself he was not as capable as he had thought. His inner voice was relentless. "You mispronounced that again. You still do not understand this grammar. 8 months and you still cannot do this. What is wrong with you?" He had started to dread his morning sessions, not because they were not useful. They were useful. He was improving, slowly but genuinely. But the voice made every session feel like a test he was failing, like evidence that he was not good enough rather than proof that he was trying. One morning, he arrived at the school earlier than usual. One of the English teachers, a calm, experienced man named Mr. Amin, was already there preparing his first class. They talked while the coffee was brewing, and something Mr. Amin said changed everything. What Mr. Amin said: Saber mentioned that he had been studying English for 8 months. He said it without pride, almost apologetically, like he was confessing something. Mr. Amin asked, "How is it going?" Saber shrugged. "Slowly. I still make many mistakes. I feel like I should be further by now." Mr. Amin looked at him. "What do you say to yourself when you make a mistake?" Saber thought about it honestly. He told Mr. Amin some of the things the voice said. The stupid, the why can you not remember, the what is wrong with you. Mr. Amin was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Would you say those things to one of my students? If a 12-year-old made a grammar mistake, would you tell them they are stupid, that something is wrong with them?" "No," said Saber immediately. "Of course not." "Why not?" "Because it would discourage them. It would make them afraid to try." Mr. Amin looked at him steadily. "And what do you think it does to you?" Saber did not answer, because the answer was obvious. The same thing. It discouraged him. It made him afraid to try. It made every session feel like a risk, because after every session came the voice, tallying the mistakes, pronouncing the verdict. Mr. Amin picked up his coffee. "You would not teach a child that way," he said. "Do not teach yourself that way either." Lesson 1. The voice is a choice. That evening, Saber sat at home and thought about what Mr. Amin had said. He thought about his inner voice, about the things it said after mistakes. He had always treated those words as automatic, as natural, as just the way he was. Some people were self-critical. He was self-critical. That was his nature. But Mr. Amin had called it a choice, implicitly but clearly. You would not talk to a child that way. So why talk to yourself that way? Because the child would not benefit from cruelty, and neither would Saber. He thought about a student in Mr. Amin's class, a teenager he sometimes saw in the corridor. The boy made mistakes constantly. He pronounced things wrong. He forgot vocabulary. He sometimes confused grammar rules he had learned weeks ago. And Mr. Amin, patient, warm, consistent, would say, "Good try. Let us look at that again. Here's why. Try once more. Not stupid. Not what is wrong with you. Good try. Let us look at that again." Was the student improving? Yes, visibly, month by month. Saber had been studying for 8 months with a voice that said, "What is wrong with you?" He decided to try something different. He decided to change the voice, not to a false, dishonest voice that said everything was perfect when it was not, just to a kinder, more honest, more useful voice, the voice of a patient teacher, not a harsh judge. Daily English sentences. Repeat after me. I speak to myself the way a good teacher speaks to a student. Good try. Let us look at that again. That is my new voice. Cruelty to myself does not help me improve. Kindness does. I notice the mistake. I understand it. I try again. That is enough. My inner voice is a choice. I choose a kinder one. I am learning. Mistakes are expected. I am not failing. I teach myself with patience, not with punishment. Lesson 2. The three-step response. The next morning, Saber sat at his desk for his English session. He had decided on a simple new rule for how he would respond to his own mistakes. 3 steps. Nothing complicated. Step 1. Notice. When he made a mistake, he would notice it, clearly and calmly, not with drama, just, that was wrong. Step 2. Understand. Why was it wrong? What was the correct form? He would look it up if he needed to. He would understand the mistake specifically. Step 3, try again. He would say or write the correct version once, clearly, and then move forward. That was it. Notice, understand, try again. No replaying the mistake for the rest of the session. No adding it to a mental list of evidence that he was not capable. No voice saying, "What is wrong with you?" Just 3 clean steps, and then forward. He used the new rule that morning. He made 2 mistakes, both times. Notice, understand, try again. Both times, forward. The session felt different, not easier, not dramatically better, but lighter, like the mistakes were smaller. Not because they were smaller, they were the same size, but because his response to them was smaller, cleaner, without the extra weight of the voice piling on. He arrived at work that morning feeling something he had not felt after a study session in a long time. Okay, just okay. Calm and okay, like someone who had done something useful and was not punishing himself for it. Daily English sentences. Repeat after me. Notice. Understand. Try again. That is my 3-step rule. I do not replay the mistake. I respond to it and move forward. Mistakes are smaller when my response to them is clean. I arrive at work feeling calm after my study session. Okay is enough. I do not need to feel brilliant every morning. 3 clean steps, then forward. Always forward. I respond to mistakes like a teacher, not like a judge. Lesson 3. What changed over time? 2 months after his conversation with Mr. Amin, Saber noticed something. He no longer dreaded his morning sessions. This was new. For most of the 8 months before, there had been a faint heaviness before each session, a slight reluctance, because the session meant mistakes, and mistakes meant the voice. But the voice had changed, not completely. Old habits of thinking do not vanish quickly. But it was quieter, softer, less automatic. When he made a mistake now, his first response was not "What is wrong with you?" It was notice, understand, try again, and try again had done something unexpected. Because trying again, calmly, without drama, with genuine curiosity about the correct form, had helped him actually learn from his mistakes. The old voice had been so focused on judging the mistake that it had never really examined it, never really understood why, never really absorbed the correct version. The new response, patient, specific, curious, actually looked at the mistake, and looking at it meant learning from it. He thought about Mr. Amin's students, about the teenager in the corridor, about the difference between a classroom where mistakes were judged and one where they were examined. He had been living in the first kind of classroom, inside his own head. He had moved to the second kind, and his English was improving in a way that felt different from before. More solid, more genuinely understood, less memorized, and more owned. He told Mr. Amin one morning. Mr. Amin listened. Then he said simply, "You started learning instead of performing." Saber thought about that. Performing, trying to be right, afraid of being wrong, judging every mistake. learning, trying to understand, open to being wrong, using every mistake. He had been performing for 8 months. He had been learning for 2. Daily English sentences. Repeat after me. I stopped performing and I started learning, and I started learning. Performing means being afraid of mistakes. Learning means using them. My English feels more solid now, more owned, more mine. Kindness toward myself made me learn better, not worse. I am genuinely curious about my mistakes now. They teach me. 2 months of the new voice changed more than 8 months of the old one. I moved from the judging classroom to the learning classroom. Lesson 4. The letter he wrote. 6 months after talking to Mr. Amin, Saber was sitting in the school staff room during a quiet afternoon. He was watching a group of young students through the window. A beginner class, 8 and 9-year-olds. They were making many mistakes, laughing at some of them, getting corrected gently and trying again. None of them looked miserable about their mistakes. They looked engaged, present, like making a mistake was just part of the game, part of learning something new and interesting. Saber watched them and felt something warm and a little sad at the same time. He thought, when did learning stop feeling like that for me? When had he started treating every mistake as evidence of failure? When had the voice become so unkind? He took out his notebook and wrote something. He wrote, Dear younger Saber, you are going to learn English. It will take time. You will make many mistakes, hundreds of them. Each one will feel embarrassing in the moment. They are not embarrassing. They are just the cost of learning. They are the price you pay for improvement, and the price is worth it. Be kind to yourself. Notice the mistakes, understand them, try again, and then keep going. You do not need to be perfect to be proud of yourself. You just need to keep trying. He read it back. He put the notebook in his bag. He looked at the children through the window, laughing at their own mistakes, trying again, learning without shame. He thought, that is what it's supposed to feel like. Daily English sentences. Repeat after me. Mistakes are the cost of learning. The price is worth it. I do not need to be perfect to be proud of myself. I just need to keep trying. That is enough. Learning is supposed to feel engaged and curious, not shameful. I write kindly to my past self, and I mean every word. Children learn without shame. I can too. Be kind to yourself. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. Final words. The kindest thing you can do. Saber's story is simple. He was consistent. He showed up every morning. He put in the work, but he was making it harder for himself than it needed to be. With a voice that judged instead of guided, that punished instead of taught, that made every mistake feel like evidence of a permanent limitation rather than a temporary gap. Until Mr. Amin asked one question. Would you talk to a child that way? And Saber understood in that moment that he had been a harsh teacher himself for a long time, and harsh teachers do not produce the best students. Patient teachers do. Maybe your inner voice sounds like Saber's old voice. Maybe it is hard on you after mistakes. Maybe it tells you that you're not good enough, not smart enough, not progressing fast enough. I want to suggest 3 things. When you make a mistake, notice it, understand it, try again. That is all. Not judgment, not punishment, not a mental list of evidence against yourself. Just 3 clean steps, and then forward. Because the kindest thing you can do for your English, for your learning, for your growth, is to become a patient teacher to yourself. Notice, understand, try again. You would do it for a child, do it for yourself. See you in the next one. Stay calm, stay kind, and be kind to yourself.